Exact same thing with the law. The only difference is your ticket has been paid. Your ticket, your driving ticket. Whenever you get a driving ticket for some infraction that you did while you was driving, speaking of the law symbolically, and you don't abuse it, listen to what I'm saying, and you don't abuse it because we don't have a license to sin. That's what Shaul says in Romans chapter 6. We don't have the license to continue breaking the law. Yahushua showed us how to walk it out. So walk out the law to the best of your ability. And when you make a mistake, Yahushua's got you covered. He's going to pay your ticket. He's already paid your ticket. But you do not abuse what the Messiah has done. It's the same thing with the law.
Yahuah by night, now so lift up your hands, sanctuary in the set apart place. it stings. Yeah, that burns. Leaders turn to leeches, left you lost in the bleachers. Can you believe all those teachers giving up on their research, trying to tap into all your research, giving up all of your hard-earned. Every heartbeat makes that call. What you gonna do? Stay humble, stand or fall. Free will means choose Yahuah now. What you gonna say when he calls? Free will is simple, let's stand or fall. Choose Yahuah now. Choose Yahuah now. From shallow eyes and fake sincerity, yeah, it's not into popularity. So why would I be? Why would I be? Can't keep one foot out, one foot in, not drifting out. You'll hurt from within without him. Yahushua HaMashiach. Oh, I can't ride two roads in the same car. Can't chase the smoke and still see the stars. Same hands that can hurt, he'll gift you to heal. Same heart that can hide, use them in the eye. Every heartbeat makes that call. What you gonna do? Stay humble, stand or fall. Free will means choose Yahuah now. What you gonna say when he calls? Free will is simple, that's stand or fall. Choose Yahuah now. Choose Yahuah now. Choose Yahuah now. No crowd if I lose your favor. No crown if it's not your will. Take my script and my lines written. Write my whole life, Yahushua. Keep me safe inside. Your gospel light. No crowd if I lose your favor. No crown if it's not your will. Take my script and my lines write my whole life, Yahushua. Keep me safe.
I am the creator, the founder of the earth. I am the light, the former of day and night. I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the door, the shepherd for the right. Hiya, Ashar, hiya, hiya, Ashar.
Haya, haya.
I am the Aleph, the Tau, the first and last. The beginning, the end, forever everlasting. Father, the Prince of Peace. I am that I am. the towel, the first and last, the beginning, the end, forever lasting. Father, the Prince of Peace, I am that I am. I will be what I will be. Hiya, Ashar, hiya, hiya, Ashar.
All right, we are back. We are back. That song is called Hiya, I Am. Hiya, I Am. That's a song that I put together here, AI Tools. I don't know if this is available on our website yet. If it isn't, we'll make sure to put it up there with our Aki Chris, who puts that together for us. Chris Yahoo, TURAH for all that you do, Aki. And for Cody Nazareth as well for putting the link tree together. And she has a lot of nice songs nice songs as well. I'm trying not to say the word music because that has to do with the deity, just like a lot of things that we've been learning. But anyhow, so the artist is me, Simone. I'm the artist. That was my song. That's my song. Most of the songs that I play here is the songs that I put together. Every once in a while, if it's not one of mine, I will tell you it's not mine. Like the one that Brooke wanted me to play. I'm gonna have to look and see if she has sent it to me now. I'm not sure if she has. Let me check and see. Oh, yes, you did. Okay, All Nations Word. Okay, yep, so we'll play that here in a little while. All right. So, Aki Lester, if you're back, you said something in Second Esdras you wanted me to read. Could you pull that back up for me so I can bring it up? What was the passage in Second Azariah? All praises to the Most High Abba Yahuah for all that he does in our midst. I'm so thankful. I am just so thankful. While the world is in the way it is, we are literally like a few years from the kingdom being here on this earth. That was fire. Aki Lester must not be back. Anybody else has any other questions or comments that they wanted to share? Oh, Second Esdras 16, the whole chapter? Is that what he wanted? Let me pull this up. Second Esdras 16. That would be the last chapter. Okay. Yes. Okay, so let's read Second Esdras chapter 16. Second Esdras chapter 16, starting at verse 1. Let me blow it up here so we can all read it together. Okay, and it reads, "Woe to you, Babylon and Asia! Woe to you, Egypt and Syria! Gird up yourselves with sackcloth and garments of hair, and mourn your children, and lament, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you, and who is he that may turn it back? A fire is sent upon you, and who is he that may quench it? Evils are sent upon you, and who is he that may drive them away? May one drive away a hungry lion in the wood? Or may one quench the fire in stubble, when it has once begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? Yahuah, our Alua Elohim, sends the evils. And who will drive them away? A fire will go out from his wrath. And who is he that may quench it? He will cast lightning, and who will not fear? He will thunder, and who will not tremble? Yahuah will threaten, and who will not be utterly broken in pieces? at his presence. The earth quakes, and the foundations thereof. The sea arises upon the waves of the deep, and the waves of it will be troubled, and the fishes thereof also at the presence of Yahuah, and before the esteem of his power. For strong is his right hand that bends the bow. His arrows that he shoots are sharp and will not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Behold, the evils are sent out and will not return again until they come upon the Arats. The fire is kindled and will not be put out until it consumes the foundations of the Arats. Just as an arrow that is shot of a mighty archer returns not backward, even so the evils that are sent out upon the Arats will not return again. Woe is me! Woe is me! Who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows, and there will be great mourning, and the beginning of famine, and many will perish. The beginning of wars, and the powers will stand in fear. The beginning of evils, and all will tremble. What will they do in all this when the evils will come? This right here is talking to us about what we read in Matthew 24, about the same prophecies that the Mashiach told us of the things that are going to happen before his great and terrible day, the day of Yahuah. Verse 19, behold, famine and plague, suffering and anguish, they are sent scourges for amendment. But for all these things, they would not turn them from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, food will be so great cheap upon the earth that they will think themselves to be in a great case. And even then will evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of those who dwell upon the earth will perish. Many on the earth, for many of those who dwell upon the earth will perish of famine, and the other that escape the famine will the sword destroy. And the dead will be cast out as dung, and there will be no one to comfort them, for the Arats will be left desolate, and the cities thereof will be cast down. There will be no husbandman left to it's supposed to say left to till the earth. So it's pretty much saying there's no farmer left to till the earth and sow it. The trees will give fruit, and who will gather them? The grapes will ripen, and who will tread them? For in all places there will be a great forsaking. For one man will desire to see another, or to hear his voice. For of a city there will be 10 left, and 2 of the field, that have hidden themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks. As in the orchard of olives, upon every tree there will be left 3 or 4 olives. Or as when a vineyard is gathered together, or gathered there be some clusters left by those who diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so in those days there will be 3 or 4 left by those who search their houses with the sword. This right here sounds like martial law. And the Arats will be left desolate, and the fields thereof will be for briars, and her ways and all her paths will bring out thorns, because no sheep will pass there through. The virgins will mourn, having no bridegroom. The women will mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters will mourn, having no helpers. In the wars, will their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands will perish of famine. Hear now these things, and understand them, you servants of Yahuah. Behold, the word of Yahuah, receive it. Disbelieve not the things whereof Yahuah spoke. Behold the evils that draw near, and are not slack. Just as a woman with child in the 9th month, when the hour of her delivery draws near, within 2 or 3 hours, doleful pains surround her womb. And when the child comes out from the womb, there will be no waiting for a moment. Even so will not the evils be slack to come upon the Arats, and the world will groan, and the sorrows will take hold of it on every side. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the Arats. He that sells, let him be as he that flees away, and he that buys as that one that will lose. Let me bring this down so we can see it. He that occupies merchandise as he that has no profit by it, and he that builds as he that will not dwell therein. He that sows as if he should not reap, so also he that prunes the vines, as he that will not gather the grapes. Those who marry as those who will not get children, and those who marry not as the widowed. Inasmuch as those who labor, labor in vain, for strangers will reap their fruits and plunder their goods or their belongings, overthrow their houses, and take their children captive. For in captivity and famine will they beget their children. And those who traffic to become a plunder. The more they deck their cities, their houses, their possessions, their own persons, the more I will hate them for their sins. You hear that? Let me read that part again. And those who traffic to become a plunder. The more they deck their cities, their houses, their possessions, their own persons, even their own persons, makeup, clothing, gear, drip, as as a lot of the youngsters like to say these days. The more I will hate them for their transgressions, says Yahuah. Just as a right, honest, and virtuous woman hates a prostitute, so will righteousness hate iniquity when they see decks herself, or when she decks herself, and will accuse her to her face when he comes that will defend him, that diligently searches out every sin upon the Arats. Therefore be not like them, nor do the works of them or thereof. For yet a little while, and iniquity or lawlessness will be taken away from the Arats, and righteousness will reign over us. Let not the sinner, that is the transgressor of the law, say that he has not transgressed, for he will burn coals of fire upon their head, that say, I have not transgressed before Yahuah and his esteem. But behold, Yahuah knows all the works of men, their imaginations, their thoughts, and their hearts. Who said, let the earth be made, and it was made. Let the heaven be made, and it was made. And at his word were the stars established, and he knows the number of the stars. Who searches the deep and the treasures thereof? He has measured the sea and what it contains. Who has shut the sea in the midst of the waters? And with his word has he hanged the earth upon the waters? Who spreads out the heaven like a vault? Upon the waters has he founded it. Who has made the desert springs of waters, or springs of water and pools upon the tops of the mountains, to send out rivers from the height of the water of the earth to water the earth? Who framed man and put a heart in the midst of his body and gave him breath, life, and understanding? Yes, the Ruach of Alua Elohim, Al Shaddai, he who made all things and searches out hidden things in hidden places. Surely he knows your imagination and what you think in your hearts. Woe to those who transgress and would fain hide their sin. I think it's saying, and would in vain hide their sin. For as much as Yahuah will exactly search out your works, all your works, and he will put you all to shame. And when your transgressions are brought out before men, you will be ashamed, and your own lawlessnesses will stand as your accusers in that day. What will you do? How will you hide your transgressions before Alua Elohim and his Malachim, his angels? Behold, the mighty one is the Dan, or judge. Fear him. Leave off from your transgressions. Forget your lawlessnesses, to meddle no more with them forever. It's like what we were talking about today in Hebrews. Go and sin no more. So will the mighty one lead you out and deliver you from all suffering. For behold, the burning wrath of the great multitude is kindled over you, and they will take away certain of you and feed you with that that is slain to idols, and those who consent to them will be had in derision and in reproach, and be trodden underfoot of them. For there will be in various places and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear Yahuah. They will be like madmen, sparing no one, but spoiling and destroying those who still fear Yahuah. For they will waste and take away their things and cast them out of their houses. Then will be manifest the trial of my elect, even as the gold that is tried in the fire. Hear, O you, my elect, says Yahuah. Behold, the days of suffering are at hand, and I will deliver you from them. But you not be afraid, neither doubt, for the mighty one is your guide. And you who keep my commandments and precepts, say to Yahuah, our mighty one, do not let your transgressions weigh you down, and do not let your lawlessness lift up themselves. Woe to those who are fast bound with their transgressions and covered with their iniquities, their lawlessness. Like as a field of fast bounds of bushes, and the path of those covered with thorns, that no person may travel through. It is even shut off and given up to be consumed of fire. Hallelujah. Yahuah. And so we read here how it's talking about these last days and how there are days of suffering that are coming. And he's going to deliver us from them. We need to stay strong, Mishpachah. May we be found worthy to be one of the 144,000. May we be found counted worthy to escape these things that are about to come upon this earth. For you and me and those of you who are listening to my voice, that's what this ministry is all about. It's about preparing us for him. It is not for followers. It is not for likes. It's not for hearts. It's not for anything else but for us to be ready for our Abba Yahuah. That's what matters. That's what's eternal. And this is what we're working towards. We're working towards being found without any spot or wrinkle. For this is who he's coming back for a bride without spot or wrinkle. Not to be a prostitute, not to be one committing adultery, spiritual adultery, not having things in our heart that we know that Abba Yahuah does not like. Anything that we put before him, that can become an idol. Anything that we place before him, that can cause us to not be a part of his eternal kingdom. So this is what we're doing every single day, every moment. It's working on ourselves, examining ourselves, making sure that we are found to be called and elected. Make sure that our calling is for sure, as the Apostle Shaul would say. All right. Let's look at some questions and comments. Yah's chosen daughter, you said, can you please elaborate on the fivefold ministry, since you mentioned one should not call themselves a prophet? If Yahuah has gifted these gifts, including myself, please explain. TURAH. Okay, so you may have the gift of teaching, right? You may have the gift of preaching. You may have the gift of prophesying. All right, so let's go to that passage where Shaul says that in one of his letters. I can't remember which book that's in. Do you guys remember which letter it was where Shaul says that about the fivefold ministry? He has given some to be prophets and some apostles and teachers and preachers. I can't remember the passage. Was it in one of the Timothys? Can someone look that up for me? Was it in the Corinthians? It probably is. I just can't remember exactly where it was. Ephesians 4:11. Okay. Yep, there it is. Found it. Okay. So it was you, right? Yah's chosen daughter, who asked that question. Yes, it was you. Okay. So let's read this. So it says here, and he himself, that is our Messiah, he says, he gave some as emissaries. We know that word to be apostles, and some as prophets, and some as evangelists, and some as shepherds and teachers. Okay. Now, let me read that in the KJV, because I think they use different wording there for them. Galatians, Ephesians, chapter 4. All right. And that is verse 13. Oh, no, verse 11. And he gave some to be prophets, or let me back up, because they split it into this here. And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers. Okay. Whereas the other one said, prophets, evangelists, shepherds, and teachers, right? Now, those are ministries that are done and still are happening today. But nowhere do you see anywhere in the New Testament or even in the Old where people are walking around saying, I'm prophet this and I'm prophetess that, or I'm pastor this and I'm pastor that. A lot of this that you're seeing today is New Age teaching that is in Christianity. Christianity uses that as if it's a title like saying doctor. Okay? We don't use these things. This is what man has put on because they're elevating themselves. You're just not Brother Jimmy anymore. I got to be what? Teacher Jimmy, right? I can't accept just being a brother. The Messiah told us out of his own mouth, you are not to lord over one another as the heathens do. When I'm using that word Lord, I'm not using it as bow. I'm using it as exactly the way they use it, like somebody who's a landlord, right? To lord or to master over someone, to be above someone. He says you are to all be brothers. You are to call one another brothers. So that in itself right there puts the nail in the nail in the coffin for me to never call myself a prophet. I'm Prophet Jimmy. Nice to meet you. No, we don't use those. Now, you may have those gifts. Maybe Yahuah has given you that gift, and that is the gift that you use, but you don't use that as your first name or a title to your name. Even the Messiah didn't go around calling himself, I'm the Messiah, Yahusha. I'm the anointed one, Yahusha. He asked other people, who do you say that I am? So it's the same thing in some of these churches. You go into the church and they say, oh, this is Pastor Bob. Excuse me? You mean Brother Bob, right? No. He's the pastor. Okay, well, he's the pastor, but he's still your brother. He might be the one who's shepherding this body of believers, but he's still a brother. This is what's causing the rift within the body because people want to be the head. We don't use these terminologies before our names. So let's say if we did have a congregation, right? And we know that there's a person who is the pastor of this congregation. I'll say, oh yeah, this is Brother Al. He's the pastor over this assembly. That would be correct. Who's the pastor here? Oh, that would be Aki Al, my brother Al. Oh, who's the one who gave this word of prophecy? Oh, that was a Cody, such and such. She has the gift of prophecy. But we don't go around calling her prophetess. Let me show you something. Let's go to the book of Revelation. Notice how it says this in the book of Revelation. Revelation chapter 2, verse 20. But I hold against you that you allow that woman Yazabal, you may call it Jezebel, who calls herself, notice that, who calls herself a prophetess, to teach and lead my servants astray, committing whoring, and to eat foods offered to idols. Did you catch that? What did she call herself? Yeah, we don't do that. That's a no-no. We don't call ourselves stuff. Let's make it plain and simple. Ak and Akut. That's all we are. That's all we are. If we have a gift of something that Yahuah has given us, we do those things. But we don't admonish ourselves to say, yeah, I'm Prophet Jimmy. Okay? So I hope that answers your question, Yah's chosen daughter. That's a no-no. We don't do that. We don't call ourselves prophetess like Celestial or whatever that lady's name is, claiming herself to be something that she's not, and she's a Jezebel. Yahuah is king. You say, what if your gift is to cook? Okay, are you going to call yourself and go around and call yourself chef king? I mean, there's people that they just have to have, some kind of title before their name. Why can't they just be a chef? Why can't king be the chef? Any other questions or comments? Do you use sackcloth and ashes? We don't use sackcloth and ashes, but that is a form of mourning with sackcloth and ashes. So today we might not be throwing sand and ashes on our face and our head and stuff like they did in ancient past, but you feel it in your heart when you're mourning. It's the way you feel within your heart. Like when someone passes away that you love dearly. Our Messiah, we don't see him he didn't throw any ashes and wearing sackcloth when Lazarus had passed away. And he did mourn over Lazarus. It's the only place in the word where we're literally told that he cried. Speaking of, my dad used to use that when we prayed before we eat. And he would say, of course, he would say it according to the way that Christians would say it. Jesus wept. So when I was growing up, we'd put our hands together, close our eyes, bow our heads before we eat. My dad would say, okay, let's pray. And he would say, Jesus wept. And then we start eating. I didn't even think about that until I got older. Like, why did my dad take the shortest verse in scripture or in the writings in the New Testament, and he used that to pray over the food? And he would say, Jesus wept. And so we started saying it until I got older and I started realizing what my dad was saying. It is hilarious. It's hilarious. Yeah, my daddy was always hungry. He would always say, Jesus wept. I don't know where he got it from. He must have got it from my grandma. Well, my grandma, she was a prayer. Even as a Christian, she would pray. She did not play around when it came to praying. One time, me and my friends and my younger brother, and I had to been every bit of probably 10 years old at this time, my grandma called us into the house. It was time to eat lunch. So we're standing over there in the kitchen. And my grandma's like, all right, now it's time for us to pray. And so we start snickering. I don't know what, how you just get into these laughing convulsions. And so me and my brother and our friend was laughing. The next thing I feel over my head is a hit. Boop, right over my head. Now, we're not going to do that. It's serious. When it's time to pray, we praying. When all that laughing, all that stuff, you need to cut that out. And I was like, wow, okay. And I was trying my best not to, laugh, but I just couldn't hold it. I just had this bug of laughing, man. And my my grandma went off on me. Bam! And didn't I tell you not to? Okay, I wasn't laughing no more. I was not laughing no more. She took that laughing right out of me. Right out of me. Yep. That was my grandma. She did not play. Okay. Let's see, what do we have here? What side of the family was this? Sounds like family of mine. That was my black side of the family. That was my grandma. That was my black side. The Hebrew side. Grandma did not play. Ahavaya, you said, how do you get people to stop calling you by your ordained office when you come into the truth? I can be a little too direct and it offends. Well, I mean, if people want to call you pastor this and pastor that, that's one thing. But as long as you're not using it, okay? Just like here, calls herself a prophetess. As long as you're not calling yourself, people can call you whatever they want. They can call you a prophetess. Prophetess Ahava. If they want to call you prophetess Ahava, they have every right to do so. But you don't call yourself that. You're very welcome, Ahava. Yes, exactly. Yeah, we don't call ourselves anything but just who we are. Jacob, who is Malak Zadok? So of course we say Melchizedek, like you spelt it, right, Jacob? But in Hebrew, that's two words, Malak Zadok, which is righteous king. Malak being king. Malak can also be messenger, or what we call angel. Again, it depends on the way the word is being used, the verbiage is being used. And here, Jacob is being used as righteous king, Malak. Okay, so if we go to, we can go into Genesis where we first read about Malak Zadok when Abraham was on his way back from getting his nephew Lot back, saving him from those that took him into slavery and his family. But in the book of Hebrews, it gives us a very clear understanding of who Malak Zadok is. Now, the first time he appears in the word or in Hebrews is chapter 5, where it says here, chapter 5, verse 6, as he also says in another place, you are a priest forever according to the order of Malak Zadok. Malak Zadok, right? Now, you ask the question, well, who is Malak Zadok? Chapter 7. For this Malak Zadok, king of Salem, priest of the Most High Yahuah Elohim, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the sovereigns and baruched him, to whom also Abraham gave a tithe or a tenth part of all, his name being translated indeed first sovereign or king of righteousness. That's what Malak Zadok means. Malak being king, Zadok means righteousness, or Zadok, Malak Zadok. Then also sovereign of Salem, or the king of Shalom, king of peace. That is the king of peace, sovereign, right? But notice what it says here, who he is. He's without father, without mother, talking about Malak Zadok, without genealogy. That should give you a clue of who we're talking about. Having neither beginning, another clue, of days, nor end of life, but having been made like the son of Yahuah Elohim, remains a priest for all time. So when we see here, it says, but having been made like the son of Elohim, we're saying, well, then this can't be the son of Elohim because it says it's like the son of Elohim. But this is who it's talking about. It's just the way it's translated. But who else has no father or mother and has no genealogy? Who could that be, Jacob? Who could that be? And he remains a priest forever. I see everybody knows who it is. I just want to see if Jacob, who asked the question, do you know that too as well, Jacob? Yes, and that's a great point as well, Hugo. Abraham kneeled to him; he worshipped him, and we know we're not to worship nobody but Yahuah. Jacob, are you still here? Oh, okay. I thought you was talking about me. No, I wasn't talking about you. Oh, you silly. So yeah, I mean, that's who Malak Zadok is. It is our Mashiach, Yahusha. He's the high priest that remains a priest forever. And that's why you'll see over and over again that is talking about the Messiah. And it says it over. You are a priest forever according to the order of Malak Zadok. You are a priest forever according to the order of Malak Zadok. This is talking about our Messiah. He is Malak Zadok. He is the king of righteousness. He is the priest of righteousness. He is the king of shalom. He is the king of peace. He is the king over Yahushalom, the city of peace. That's right, Ed Yahu. Yes, Yahusha has appeared in many forms. Hallelujah. Yes, he has. So the book of Malak Zadok, I have it right here. I thought I had it right here. Where is it? I know I have it. Where did I put it? Malak Zadok. It must be this one. Yep. So this book here is another book that one can get into and to study. It's a short read. I won't be reading it today. So let's back up a little bit. Malak Zadok. Malak Zadok, when it talks about the order of Malak Zadok, which is a priesthood, it's a kahuna, like the Levitical priesthood. The Zadok priesthood is a different type of priesthood. It's the eternal priesthood. The Levitical priesthood is not an eternal priesthood. It served its purpose for the time that it was to be. Okay. But the eternal priesthood is in the order of Malak Zadok, the king of righteousness. So who was the original Malak Zadok? Well, of course, that would be our Mashiach. But who was in the order of Malak Zadok? Well, that would be Sham. Sham, the great-grandfather or the great-great-great-grandfather of Abraham. WPS, then you can leave, my friend, if you're so upset about me not speaking it according to your English translated words. So Sham, who they call Shem, because there is no E in Hebrew, and that's probably why you have an issue with what I'm sharing, WPS. I apologize that you don't like the way I speak and the way I pronounce things according to your ear, because you want me to scratch your itching ears. I don't do that. But you can always go find people that will. Okay. So anyhow, Sham, who they call Shem, he was in that order. He was the one who started teaching Abraham about the order. Now, if Melchizedek, as WPS would like for me to say it, Malak Zadok, if he was Sham, then Abraham would have recognized him, because Abraham was taught under not his father, TURAH, but under Sham. Okay. When TURAH sent his son Abraham and his mom away for a while, Abraham, before he was called Abraham, that is, Abram, learned under his great-great-grandfather, Sham. Sham was the one who taught him the way, about the way. Okay, Sham was the one who put it in the heart of Abraham about how his dad was an idolater. And this is why Abraham understood what he understood at the time when he was younger. And so this is why Abba Yahuah chose Abraham, because Abraham loved Abba. He loved the commandments. He loved the truth. And so Abba Yahuah made an agreement with Abraham. He didn't make it with Sham, who taught Abraham. He made it with Abraham. And then he made it with Abraham's descendant, Isaac, and then Isaac's descendant to Jacob, and then to the 12 tribes, and you guys know the rest of the story. But the order of the Malak Zadok was passed from our creator to Sham. And we can even go back further than that and say that his dad Noach was also of that order. And we can go further back than that and go to Lamech, which seemed like Lamech was skipped over, and it was Lamech's dad, Methuselah, who was also in that order. And also before him, which was Kanok or Enoch, who was also in that order. So all that being put together, we are also under that order. You and I, we're under that priesthood. This is why he makes us kings and priests forever. We're going to rule and reign with him. So if he's the high priest under that order of Malak Zadok, then what does that make the rest of us who become kings and priests as well? Because he's a king and he's a priest. That's what we just read in Hebrews. Not only was he a king, but he was also a priest of the same city. And so it is for us the same. We're also the kings and priests of his kingdom. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Yes, and Set. So they say Seth in English, right? But his name is actually pronounced either Sat, Sut, or could even have had the sound Set. But we know there's no E in Hebrew, but they could have still made that kind of sound, but we don't use the letter E. I don't know. But Sat or Sut could have been the name of who we call Seth. Well, so the only reason why we know it doesn't have an H in there, because the two letters that are used for his name is Shin and Ta. And Ta doesn't have an H in it at all. Those are the two letters of his name. So the vowel point or the vowel placement, because we don't know how the name was pronounced, we can only assume it's either one of those. It could even be seat with a Y type of I sound, right? So we don't know for sure. But the two letters, the S and the T, is in the name. And there's no TH. So we know it's this. That's why I said, I know we say Seth in English, but there is no TH sound in Hebrew. Are priests of the Catholics mocking the Levitical? Oh boy. Yeah, tell me about it, Mr. Kane. That's exactly what they're doing. All those cardinals and bishops and their nuns, none of that is scriptural. None of that is scriptural. Even the Pharisees and Sadducees are not scriptural. That was brought up by the Hasmonean dynasty. I hope I said that right. Yeah, it's all mockery. So was Melchizedek Yahusha first earthly body when he was with Abraham? No, the very first body. And so Lachey, when you say the word earthly, that's not correct because his first earthly body was when he came in the flesh, okay, as Yahusha, born of Mary. That was his first earthly body. It's the only earthly body he has. The body before that is what we would call a celestial body, and he can change that body to be whatever form he wants it to be. Okay. He can cloak himself to where a person don't even know that they are seeing him, just like he did after his resurrection. Remember the two that were walking by the way, it says, during that day, and it was the third day, and he was behind them, listening to them having a conversation, and they're like, who are you? You know, you don't know what's been going on here in these days in Jerusalem. Where have you been? And they didn't know that they were looking at him because he cloaked himself, right? Well, the same thing in the Old Testament. He has revealed himself in many ways. He can show a person his full esteem, like he was showing to Moses on Mount Sinai, but he only showed him his backside because he says, no one can see my face and live. People like to say that, oh, see, that's the Father. That's not talking about the Son. No, the Son is who was being revealed of the Father to Masha. Masha didn't know him as the Son at that time because it wasn't time for him to be revealed yet. So what he saw is the celestial body of the Mashiach, but he wasn't known as the Mashiach yet. The same thing with Adam when he was created, and it says that the Creator walked with him in the coolness of the day in Genesis chapter 3. Okay, after they had transgressed the law, it said that Adam and Yahuah hid themselves, and they heard him walking in the garden because they heard his voice. Well, that being who was walking in the garden with Adam and Yahuah, he spent time with them. They had fellowship. That was the celestial body, the same body that we're going to see. It's this body right here. Let me show you. Let's connect the dots here. Let's go to Daniel chapter 7, where it talks about this being. Okay, check this out. Chapter 82. Okay, let's go there after this, Cody. So I want y'all to see this. Chapter 7 of Daniel, verse 9. I was looking into the thrones, plural, were set up. Okay, the thrones. What thrones are these? It's talking about the thrones that we're going to be sitting on. Okay, the saints, the Kadashim. It says, and the Ancient of Days was seated. Notice how it describes the Ancient of Days. The Ancient of Days was seated. His garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like clean wool, and his throne was a flame of fire, and its wheels a burning fire, right? Ancient of Days. We would all believe this to be the Father, right? Because what it says here, I was looking in the night visions, again, visions, like I was sharing with you guys yesterday, that Daniel was shown a vision, not a reality, a vision, and saw one like the son of Anosh. This was written in Aramaic, so it says Anosh instead of the son of Adam, but it means the same. Coming with the clouds of the Shama. Okay, so we would call this the son of Elohim. And he came to the Ancient of Days. So now he came to the Ancient of Days. So the Son came to the Ancient of Days, who we would know as the Father, right? And they brought him near before him. But let's go back and look at the description of the Ancient of Days. And the Ancient of Days was seated, and his garment was white as snow, and his hair and his head was like clean wool. Well, wait a minute. If this is the description of the Father, and we know no one has ever seen the Father, then what is this that we're reading about in Revelation chapter 1? And it says here, in the midst of the 7 lampstands, one like the son of Anosh, or Adam, dressed in robe down to the feet, girded about the chest with a golden band, and his head and his hair were white as white wool, as snow. But we're given a little more information about this Ancient of Days. His eyes and his is a flame of fire, and his feet like the burnished brass and refined furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. So what are we being told here? Remember, they're both seeing visions. If we take the Messiah at his word, and it says that no one has ever seen the Father at any time or heard his voice, then who is it that Daniel is seeing in this vision that is called the Ancient of Days, who is being described as the same as the Son here in Revelation chapter 1, if it's not one and the same? Because it's one and the same. It's one and the same. Okay? So now let's go to Psalms 82. Psalms 82. Is this the one that you wanted me to read, Cody? Stella? Okay. Yahuah Elohim, the mighty and mighty one, stands in the congregation of Al, or stands in the congregation of the mighty. He judges in the midst of the Elohim. Okay, so this is exactly what, like the Messiah was saying. He says, did I not call you Elohim? In the English translations, they use that Germanic term gods. We're mighty ones too, but we're not the Almighty. It's a little different, right? Al Shaddai and Elohim, the names itself or the words themselves in the Hebrew, are telling us two different types of beings, right? There's only one Al Shaddai, the Almighty, the Most High, right? But anyone can be considered a Elohim. And all it means is a mighty one. In fact, Nimrod was considered a mighty one, right? But if we continue, how long would you judge perversely and show partiality to the wrong? Salah, meditate. Give right ruling to the poor and fatherless. Do right to the afflicted and needy. Rescue the poor and needy. Deliver them from the hand of the wrong. They do not know, nor do they understand. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. I said, you are Elohim. This is what the Messiah said when the Pharisees and Sadducees were saying, oh, you make yourself out to be a Elohim. And so the Messiah says, did he not write and say to you that you are Elohim? That you are mighty ones? In the English, they use the word gods. Well, we know the word God in the way we use it in the English is as one who is like Almighty. This is why they get twisted what has been said in the very beginning at the fall when Satan says that you shall not surely die. You will be like God, right? Using the English terminology, knowing the difference between right and wrong. But in all actuality, you know, Christians say, see, Satan is saying you can be gods. No, that's not what Satan was saying. He was only saying that you would be like the mighty one, knowing the difference between what is right and what is wrong. And the Creator himself said the same thing later on in that verse or in that chapter about Adam has become like one of us, knowing the difference between right and wrong. So I say all that to say here, I said, you are Elohim, you are mighty ones, and all of you are sons of the Most High. But as men, you die and fall as one of the heads. As men, you die. Not as sons of the Most High will you die. So the only ones who are going to be Elohim is you and me, Cody Stella, and those who believe as we believe, Cody Stella, in the truth and follow the commandments. Because this is what the Messiah says, that he is going to make us from sons of Adam into sons of Elohim. This is why he came. His purpose was to make us sons of Elohim. So we would be images. As it was from the very beginning, we were supposed to be the image of the Mighty One, in his likeness and in his image. That's how he created us. But we fell from that, as you know. We all have fallen from that esteem. And so we want it back. And the only way we can get it back is we have to keep the commandments. We have to do what the Mashiach told us to do to once again receive that was taken from us. And so if we continue on the way we are, we're going to die as mere men and fall as one of the heads. Arise, O Elohim, judge the earth, for you shall possess all the nations. So now let's think about this. Did he not tell us that we're going to judge the earth? Did he not also say that we are going to possess the nations? Let's go back to Daniel. Here it is. And they brought him near before him, and to him, that is to the Messiah, was given rulership and preciousness and reign, that all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him. And his rule is an everlasting rule that shall not pass away, and his reign that shall not be destroyed. Then the set apart ones, you and me, of the Most High, shall receive the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Until the Ancient of Days came and right ruling was given, that is, judgment was given to the set apart ones, the saints of the Most High. And the time came and the set apart ones took possession of the kingdom. That's you and I. But judgment shall sit, and they shall take away its rule, take away Satan's rule, to cut it off and to destroy it until the end. And the kingdom, the reign, and the rulership, and the greatness of the kingdoms, the nations under all the heavens, shall be given to the people. Who is that? The set apart ones of the Most High. His reign is an everlasting reign, and all rulership shall serve and obey him. So you see how this chain of command goes from the Father to the Son to the bride. We get to inherit the kingdom. We get to rule over the kingdom. Judgment is given to us. And this is what Yahuah was talking about in 1 Corinthians when he says this in chapter 6. Do you not know that the set apart ones shall judge the world? And if the world is judged by you, are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Do you not know that we shall judge even the angels? How much more matters of this life? So again, this is why we are said to be Elohim. But don't get it twisted. We're not Al Shaddai. We're not the Almighty. But yes, in our own part, he is going to make us mighty ones. We're going to be everlasting. We are going to be eternal, immortal, incorruptible. Hallelujah. Yahuah. I hope that helps you out, Cody Stella. Not that you didn't know this stuff already. Okay, what else we have here? Baba Kasha, Cody Stella. BT perform. Were the Sadducees and Pharisees men of the lineage of Edom who rose to prominence? Yes, they were half-breeds. A lot of them, like King Herod, were Edomites. They were partial Yahudim. They were partial Yahudim, and they were also of the Edomites. So, as we know, Edom, as how they spell it, Edom, is actually spelled the same way you spell Adam, the first man. They're Edomites. Okay. The Edomites, these are people that had their lineage from Esau. Esau mated with the Canaanites, took on women of the Canaanites, and created this half-breed that we call Edomites. Edom. Edom is a what I'm trying to think of who brought that word about, what language. I want to say it's Aramaic. So this is why you would see people say Eudemia for the land of Judah. You would see the word let me see if I can spell that right. Idemua. I think is that how they spell it? Idumea. These people, yeah, the Moabites as well. Yep, they're all part of that same lineage. Yes, the Moabites. Thank you. And so these were people, again, it's the mindset. It's not so much the bloodline, it's the mindset of the people. Because you got to remember, if you go back, Yahuah revealed himself only to one set of people, and that's to the Yashraelites. Okay. And Yashrael were the only ones who was in agreement, this contract with the creator of heaven and earth. None of the other people had that connection except for the Midianites, which is where Jethro comes from. Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, their background were people who were connected to the 10 lost tribes. That's a story, or that's a lineage that I had to look into, and it goes way back. But so the Midianites also have a lot to do with the children of Yasharal. So it wasn't by accident that Masha stumbled across Jethro. And Jethro was the one who was giving him counsel about, Masha, you can't be taking all this upon yourself. You need to delegate some of this stuff off of yourself and give it to others. You're gonna drive yourself crazy. Well, Jethro, he knew about the mountain of Alua Alahim, that later on we know as Mount Sinai or Mount Horeb. Jethro knew about that mountain where Yahuah dwells. That's what he believed. That's the mountain of Yahuah. Okay. But going back to the Edomites, the Pharisees and Sadducees, not all of them, but yes, there are those that were of the Edomite bloodline. But if you go back and you look at the Maccabean revolt, you'll start to see where the Pharisees and Sadducees started getting their authority. It was given to them, just like you see pastors and preachers and teachers today that have been given the authority to become pastors and preachers and teachers of the Christian religion. It's given to them by the state. It's given to them by the Board of Education. They're the ones who give them their curriculum. They're the ones who tell them what they're to believe and what they're to teach their so-called denominations. It's all the same. Nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed is the words, but the same, or the titles, but the same power structure is still here. They just call it differently. And this is why when you start to remove these things of Christianity, you realize that this is the Roman religion. This is the religion of the Roman Empire, what we call Christianity. And this is why you find it from the White House to the poorhouse. Everybody's believing in Jesus. This is the Roman religion. It's the Roman way. I don't care how much they try to disassociate themselves from the Catholic Church or from the US government. They're still connected to the government. They can say separation of church and state all they want. Okay? They can say that all they want. Oh, we have to have separation of church and state. Oh, really? Then why is it that every person who calls themselves a so-called president or who is running for president has to tell the people of that country, oh, my religion, I believe in Christianity. I believe in Jesus Christ. He's my Lord and Savior. Why do they say that? Because sheep, as they like to say, we're dumb. And it's so easy for us to follow anyone as a shepherd, unless we've been raised up by the true shepherd and we only hear his voice. Other than that, you're going to listen to all these hirelings who's been given to you by the corrupted government which the word government is a play on words as well. Government, mind control. Ment is mental. Govern is to control. Government means mind control. And that's what they're doing to you. They're controlling your mind through the same calendar that they're telling you that there's a separation of church and state. But why is the government using a religious calendar? Think about it. Why is the United States of America using the Catholic? It's a Roman calendar. It's a Catholic religious calendar, and they're using it. Why is that? If there's supposed to be a separation of church and state, they're only telling you that, but they're not doing that because Christianity belongs to Rome. They want you to believe there's a separation. That's how they keep you divided. They got you believing the lie. That's the deception. Christianity is the deception. It has been created by Satan. Christianity will not exist in the kingdom to come. It's going to be destroyed before the kingdom gets here. Satan is going to destroy what he has created. He's going to destroy Christianity. It's in Revelation chapter 18. Yahuah is going to put it in the hearts of the leaders to go against a woman, to strip her naked, expose her. So Christianity is going to get destroyed in the near future. It is fulfilling its purpose right now to cause all the sheep who don't know the truth to be carried away by this doctrine called Christianity. Until Satan comes, and this is when they're going to bring out the actual religion of Luciferianism. They're going to bring it out into the public because this is what Satan wants. So until we realize that all the things that has been given to us we're going to be caught up into this lie unless Abba Yahuah opens your eyes to see it. Christianity has caused so many people to have lost their souls. And most of these people are not going to know it until the day that they stand before Yahuah, that they have been following a doctrine of men. The Messiah never gave us Christianity. He never gave us the doctrine of what Christianity teaches. Everything from the holidays to the calendar, to the name, to the image, to not keeping the law, to following their holidays and not Yahuwah's holidays. It's all pagan. It's all Satan. It is your Christianity. And those who want to continue to defend Christianity, they're only defending Satan's way. In all of its pomp and circumstances, regardless if they believe it's connected to the kingdom or not. And I'm talking about the Roman kingdom. It doesn't matter. Just because they're reading out of this book, Satan reads out of the book that we call the Bible, but that doesn't make him a believer. He knows that Yahuah is one and not a trinity, but that doesn't make him a believer. He knows that Yahuah exists and not being an atheist, but that doesn't make him a believer. What makes you a believer is being obedient. If you're not obedient to the words of our Creator, then you belong to Satan. That simple, that easy, that clean, that cut and dry. There is no gray area. And so for this reason, as it has been told to us in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, many have been given over to the lie, to the great delusion. The great delusion. There's only one religion on this earth that tries to imitate the truth. Only one. And it's called Christianity. All the other ones you can tell blatantly it is not even close to the truth. Let's see, Ryan, you say, with this being said, we will never line up two of the Mighty One's commandments in the timeline of the months of the festivals. Ryan, can you give us a little more understanding of what you're sharing? I'm trying to follow your frame of thought there. Yes, BT reform. Exactly. Askia, what was your question? Let me see if I can go back and find it. Can you explain why Hashatan original name and the use of Hallelujah is praise of Abba? Okay, so yeah. So again, Satan wasn't created as Satan, as you know, right? Satan was not created as Satan. When he was created, he was perfect. There was no sin in him. Exactly what we read here in his what is it, Ezekiel? What does it say in Ezekiel? Verse 13, chapter 28 of Ezekiel. You were in Eden, or Adan, the garden of Alua Elohim. Now, this garden was before the garden that was given that Adam and Yahuah was in. Okay, this was before Adam and Yahuah was created. Every precious stone was your covering. The ruby, topaz, diamond, beryl, shoham, jasper, sapphire, turquoise, emerald, gold. The workmanship of your settings and mountings was prepared for you on the day you were created. We're talking about who we know today as Satan. But he wasn't Satan back then. Notice what it says here. You were the anointed cherub. You were the anointed angel that covered. And I placed you. You were on the set-apart mountain. You were in the set-apart kingdom of Alua Elohim. You walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. That's the other angels that were also created by these same stones, these precious stones that were the covering, the ruby, the topaz, diamond, beryl, and so on and so forth. Notice what verse 15 says. You were perfect in your ways from the day you were created until unrighteousness was found in you. So when he was created, Askia, Yahuah gave him the name Halal. Praise. In fact, let's look at that word. I want you guys to see it. It's even more than praise. It can be used in a few different ways. And all of this is a way of showing who Hashatan was before he became the adversary, which is what Hashatan means. Shaitan in Hebrew means adversary in English. Okay? So that became his title. He became the adversary. But I want to show you from Isaiah chapter 14, and I want to use the Strongs to show this to you so you can see it, about his name being Halal and not Lucifer. The word Lucifer is Latin for light bearer or light bringer. Okay? They also say it means the shining one. Well, Halal also means that as well. So let me show you this. Okay. How you are fallen, Lucifer. And mind you, when the Catholic Church, the Mother Church, does their masses, they say it in Latin, and they say, Lucifer. Oh, yeah, you can hear it. Look it up. Look it up in YouTube, where the Catholic Church sing what they call Gregorian chants to Lucifer. Okay. Lucifer, number H1966. Here you see the letters. Ha, Yad, Lamed, Lamed. Okay, halal. Halal. What does it mean? Here we have to go, is from 1984 in the sense of brightness, okay? Or to say the morning star. So let's look up 1984. Excuse me. 1984, it says halal, okay? A primitive root to be dear, original sound, but usually color to shine, to make a show, a boast, and thus to be clamorously foolish. This is the opposite meaning of what, because a lot of Hebrew words have a positive note to it and a negative note to it, okay? But this is all the ways, this is all the ways it can be used. Let me pull that back up. So they can be foolish, to rave, causistively to celebrate, also to stolitify, make, or to boast in itself, to celebrate, commend, deal, make, foolish, foolishly, glory, or we would say esteem, give light, to be, make, fiend self, mad against, give in marriage, sing, be worthy of praise, rage, renowned, and shine. Okay, this word occurs 165 times in the KJV. So the name halal, and you have people, and I'm sure some of you probably seen the post on TikTok where this one brother is over here talking about you shouldn't use halal when you're talking about praising Yah. Excuse me, the word just means praise. And if you're going to use the word halal, I mean, that's almost like saying we can't even say serpent because it's connected to Satan. Well, we know not all serpents have to do with Satan. Just like the word halal, every time the word halal is being used, it doesn't always connect to Satan. So again, that was just his name. But yes, we can see how it also turned on him for his name. He can be called the foolish one. Halal can be used as one who's foolish. Halal can be one who is self-celebrating. Halal can be one who sings praises to himself, who magnifies himself, who boasts in themselves. This is all what Satan has done. He's a boastful, prideful being. And from his boastful pridefulness, he is going to be brought down low, as it says in Ezekiel and also in Isaiah. Okay. So I hope that makes sense to you, Akiaskia. So when we hallelujah, when we praise Abba Yahuwah, we're boasting in Abba Yahuwah. That's why we praise him. We halal him. Yes, TURAH, Aki. Aki, Cody Nazareth, are you asking me a question? Or are you telling me that you to use the concordance to search the bread verse you mentioned? Are you talking about in Leviticus? Yes, I've done that already. And I'll show it to you guys here if that's what you're asking me. Let me bring it up. So let's go to Leviticus chapter 23. So here, okay, so let's look at unleavened bread, right? Unleavened bread. This is where we get the word matzah. Matzah. Okay? Yeah? Unfermented cake, no soured or bittered with yeast. Okay? Now, let's go down to verse 14. And you shall eat neither bread. Bread here is lakam. You see it there? Lakam. Okay? Especially bread or grain, making it showbread, eat food, fruit, loaf, meat, victuals. Okay, so let me click on that because we're going to look at where it says it's from. From 3898, lakam. It means to feed, figuratively to consume, to implicate, to battle, or as to destroy, destruction, devour, eat, ever, fighting, overcome, prevail, make war, warring. Okay? Yes, regular bread, lakam. Yes. Well, we know it as bread. Yes. But when we see the word matzah, we know what type of bread it's talking about. Right? So here again, you are not to eat neither bread, nor parched corn, nor green ears, until the same day that you have brought an offering unto Yahuah. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. Again, when do you do this? When you make the offer, as it says in verse 12. You are to bring an offering to him on this day. Okay? That does not bleed down into the Feast of Weeks, as some of you are doing, or as I did last year, thinking that, oh, we don't eat bread until the Feast of Weeks. We don't eat no leavened bread until the Feast of Weeks. That's what I thought last year. Until looking and meditating on this verse, I see it's to be done the same day of the Feast of First Fruits. You are to make sure that you praise him. When you do this wave offering, you are to do that. Once you've done that, now you can eat bread. But until you do that, you cannot eat bread nor parched anything. You can't eat no grain, roasted grain, none of this until you have done that. Okay. Okay. What else do we have here? We got about another half an hour to go, a little over half an hour, and we're going to call it a day. And I'm going to be back on. Nazareth, you said H4682 problem. 4682 is a problem. What is it that you're seeing that is a problem? 4682. Give me a little bit. Give me a little more so I understand what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, okay. That's why I'm asking. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, YT does some crazy things. That's what I was saying earlier about when Akiao had said, well, he didn't say, but it put down that he said HE double hockey sticks, Yahuah. Yeah. Oh, you said matzah and it put that? I gotcha. Gotcha. Ain't that something? Okay. Miriyahu Lin, you said, what can you tell us about Nag Hammadi scriptures? Don't read it. It is Gnostic. It is Gnostic. Gnostic, which is a Greek word for knowledge, gnosis. Yes, they have taken even the word Sophia, which is a Greek deity, Godess, a female deity named Sophia in the Greek. And everywhere you see the word wisdom in the New Testament, you're going to see the word Sophia. because the Greeks have a lot of pagan words of their pagan deities that are mixed into their language, just like we see in English. And so we need to stay away from that stuff. But yes, the Nag Hammadi so-called scriptures is a no-no. Yeah, so Gnostic again, Mr. Kane, is the Greek word for wisdom. This is people who like to do feminine worship or feminine deity worship. Yes, the word grace angel is another word that we do not use. Grace is another Greek word for another Greek deity. Yeah, that would be one too, Mercy. Yep, exactly. Yes, that's why we use the word favor, exactly, at Cody Stella. And esteem, yes. So that's what we say. When you're talking about grace, we say favor. When you're talking about glory, we say esteem, because glory is Gloria, which is again a Greek deity. Yeah. Yeah, so like, and I've shared it with you guys many times. You can either get this book or you can go to our Cody Nazareth link tree, and we have this book already downloaded there for you to read, and you can look into it for yourself. And this isn't a complete breakdown of all the pagan words. This just kind of gets you started to looking into a lot of these things. Most of the ones that we use commonly in Christianity, it speaks about a lot of these words. Yes, Brother Clem, I do have a thought on this. So President Trump and Pope Leo. So President Trump said some things that were disrespectful to the Pope, because the Pope Leo says that we are to be peacemakers, right? And of course, this is what the Messiah says. Yes. But of course, Trump is a war hawk, even though he says that he's not going to start any wars. But this man done started like 3 wars since he's been in office. And but what we're seeing again is the clashing of two mindsets: the Zionists against the Catholics. And if you remember what I said earlier, if you was here, I'm not sure if you were, the book of Revelation talks about how the beast system is going to destroy its religious arm that we know as the Catholic Church. Satan has been propping up the beast system that we know as Christianity for a very long time, but he is going to turn on that beast system, the religious order that is, and he's going to prop up the true order, which is the Luciferian order, when he is manifested in the form of the anti-Messiah. So what we're seeing right now is exactly what's going to happen in the near future. Christianity is going to be destroyed by the kings of the earth. It served its purpose. Exactly, at Cody Nazareth. This is why they won't even, this is how they spin everything off, right? They get your attention somewhere else, where it was just every day on the news, it was about this files. And then war breaks out with Iran. Gas prices go up. Interest rates, everything. Things cost more money. People are getting laid off. The last thing you're thinking about is these files. The only ones who are still talking about it are the ones who really want to know. I mean, we all want this thing to be exposed, and it's been exposed. But again, we're dumb sheep. I mean, it's clear as day that President Trump had done some things he wasn't supposed to do, and there is evidence that he's done exactly what they say he didn't do, but he's done it. And he's saying, oh, my name is nowhere in the files, but it's all over the place. Nobody said that I did something to them. Well, these ladies are saying that you did. But again, we're dealing with a system that belongs to Satan. This system truly belongs to Satan. And this is why we knew that they were going to go to war. The way that everybody was pressing this issue against these Zionists and those who are underneath the Zionists, they're telling them, look, we need to get all of this off of us, because if we continue allowing them to push, we're going to have to bring out the other 3 million files that we didn't release. And those 3 million files, which they're going to redact everything in it because it's telling on all of them. And we're talking about some of the most powerful people known to man. They're not going to tell on themselves. They're not going to, when they have control of the State Department and they have control of the Justice Department and they have control of the military that they're calling the Department of War, they're not going to let this stuff just come out and tell on themselves. Satan is hiding all of this. Yahuah is the one who's allowing all of this to be exposed, because he's using it as a sign to his people to say, wake up and stop listening to these people that you have made for yourselves to be your leaders. These people do not have your interest at heart. They want to destroy every last one of us. And notice why they're doing this now. Why do you think they're putting up all these data centers? Because the mark of the beast is getting ready to come. They have the infrastructure now. They don't need man. They don't need women to do a lot of these jobs anymore. The only jobs that they want us to do is the slavery jobs. They want us to be enslaved to their system. So now that they don't need us anymore, now they're going to cause destruction and division and chaos. All this so-called global warming stuff that they're talking about, this ain't nothing but the judgment of Yahuah, and they're hiding it. They want you to think that it's you and me because we have gas guzzlers and we have too many cows that are passing gas, and methane is all up in the air. So we got to get rid of some of these animals. When Yahuah told these animals to be fruitful and multiply. But yet they're causing greenhouse gases, right? No. They're hiding everything from us, just like the so-called lunar thing that they did the other day with the Orion mission, wanting us to believe that they went over there to the dark side of the moon. If you want to continue to believe that Hollywoodism that they keep giving you, then you might as well go ahead and continue to believe in Christianity, because it's the same thing. They're all lies. They don't want you to believe what is truly going on. So they have to let you believe by showing you these fake imageries of the earth being this globe, this sphere in the dark of space, and how they're going to go and they're going to continue to search out the matters of the universe, because they don't know nothing about Yahuah. They don't care about Yahuah. They don't want to know the maker of heaven and earth and what he said and how he said and what he did and how he created all of this. No, they're going to tell you how all this was made some 13.8 billion years ago, trillion years ago, they say. They put so many numbers on top of the years. They think as long as there's enough years to go on, all of this has came about because of that. But just like this one very smart man said before, you can take a shoebox and put a hammer and a hammer's handle in there, and the two will never come together. I don't care how many years and years and years it takes for you to shake it up together. They'll never come together and become a hammer. The handle will always be separate from the hammerhead. Somebody physically has to do it. It takes intelligence to do that. Not something that's just shaking erratically. But that's what they want us to believe about the creation of this whole so-called universe that we know is not a universe. We're under a globe, a snow globe, a firmament, and the earth is flat. The scripture is very clear about the cosmology of everything around us. It's either you accept it or you don't. I know people who say that they believe in the Messiah, who believe in the name of Yahuah, but they don't believe that the earth is a plane. They mess with us all day long. I talk about this, and I know we got some new believers here, and I'm going to show you how they play on words, just like we were talking about government and how it means mind control. Let me show you how they keep playing with us. Many of you know this word. Many of you know this word. Let me blow this up. Right? Many of you know this word. This word planet has us already thinking about something that's round, and we got 9 of them in our so-called solar system, right? Well, what if we just move this word out? What do we have? What's the word there? Anybody who's taken geography, or I should say, not geography, geometry, you would know what the word plane means. Geometry tells us plane is a flat surface. And all they had to do was put a T at the end and give you a whole nother meaning. It sounds just like these Jewish people who like to do that with these Nikud vowel points, Masoretic vowel points. They take the words of Yahuah and they add little dashes and dots and they say, oh, and they give it a whole new meaning. They're doing the same thing with this word. They're telling you it's a plane, but they add the letter T and it messes you all up. It messed us all up. Oh, it's talking about the sphere of the earth. Oh, look at planet Mars. Look at planet Venus and planet Jupiter and Uranus and all of these. They're playing right in our face constantly. But it takes people to have eyes to see the truth. And we know that's exactly what it is, right, Aki Tim? The letter T is the cross. It comes from Tammuz. That's where it comes, all the way back from Babylon. Ain't nothing new about this pagan cross. That they got us believing that our Messiah was staked to a letter T. But this is the reality of our lives. They lied to us about everything. And it's for us to search out this matter. It is for us kings to search a matter out. We're kings after all, are we not? Men and women. Kings of the Most High. Priests of the Most High. We need to know these things. Let me see here. Brooke, you said, can you explain what you meant when you said Shaitan knew he messed up when they impaled Yahusha? So there's a passage. Oh man, where is that passage? If anybody knows the passage where it says that, if and I'm saying this, paraphrasing it, pretty much if Satan knew what he had done, he would have never have unalived the Messiah. Alaba or Alaba. What about dinosaurs? Well, it's not called dinosaurs. These would be what we know today as, well, they call them dinosaurs today, but back in the day, they called them dragons. 1 Corinthians 2:8. Okay, Lay, let's go there. So, Brooke, this is what I was getting at. Yes, this is the one. Yes, to that top for that, Lachey. So it says here, let's back up to verse 7. But we speak the wisdom of Yahuah Elohim that was hidden in secret, and that Yahuah Elohim ordained before the ages for our esteem, that no one of the rulers of this age knew, for if they had known, they would not have impaled the master of esteem. But as it has been written, eye has not seen, nor ear has heard, nor have entered into the heart of men, what Yahuah Elohim has prepared for those who love him. So this right here is where he knew he done messed up. If Satan would have known that they had impaled the master to the stake, knowing that impaling him would allow the rest of us to have our sins forgiven, Satan would have never done that. But see, he didn't understand the plan of Yahuah. He didn't understand how Yahuah was going to redeem those who would come to believe in him. So Satan thinking, oh, okay. And again, this is just my understanding. Satan was pretty much like saying, if we unalive this being, this child, this image, because you got to remember, Satan knows that the creator is still sitting on the throne. Just because he was here on the earth in the form of a man, the one he knows is still sitting on the throne. So whoever this is that came out of the womb of Mary, if it is him, and he tried to take him out the first time through King Herod, it didn't work. It wasn't time yet. So this is why he went and unalived all the boys 2 years and under. Okay, hoping that through that sweep of that net, the Messiah would have been caught into that same command where he would have got taken out with the other boys. But that's not what happened, because as we know, Joseph was forewarned in a dream by an angel to take Mary and the son, Yahusha, and they were to flee to Mitzrayim, to Egypt. Why Egypt? Because in Egypt, the Egyptians look a lot like the Negroes, the Hebrews, the Shemites, the true Shemites. The Hamites and the Shemites look very similar, skin tone and all. It was easy for them to blend in with the Egyptians. Now, if we were to believe what they've been telling us, that he's blonde hair and blue eyes, and he was straight hair and he was non-melanated, he would have stuck out like a sore thumb in Egypt. It would have been easy for the Romans to have found him there in Egypt. Hence why they went into Egypt, so they can hide out. But nonetheless, Satan didn't get him at that time. And so he worked through Yehuda the Iscariot, Judas the Iscariot. Satan entered into him, used him to betray our Messiah. But this was according to our Messiah's plan. Satan didn't know this. Satan thought by unaliving This person who was going around healing everyone and casting out demons out of everyone, that if he unalived him, he would be just like the other Nabaims that came before him, like the other prophets that came before him. And once you unalive him, it'll stop what was going on. And the people would have got right back into the thick of things, and they would have fell back into line, and they would have been back in the box, scared out of their wits, like Kappa, like Peter was. I swear I don't know the man. I tell you, I don't know the man. And then here comes the rooster crowing. And so now Satan, once he saw that the Messiah resurrected from the grave, he knew, oh boy, I done messed up. How do we know this? Because Christianity came about. This was his damage control. If you can't stop the movement, then you change the movement. It's the same thing that happened in the garden. Satan couldn't stop the creation of Adam, but he can stop Adam from obeying the Creator. And that's what happened with Christianity. Christianity became the religion of disobedience. It was Satan's damage control. And this is what's flourishing right now all throughout the earth, is Satan's religion called Christianity, to be disobedient. And so he knows he has a little time left. Yep, exactly, Aki. Just like the staffs. He mimics the truth. He constantly mimics the truth. Again, everyone in Christendom knows that Buddhism isn't the truth. Everyone knows that Islam isn't the truth. I mean, they changed the Old Testament. They changed it from Isaac to Ishmael as the promised seed. I mean, it's blatant. The lies are blatant in the Quran. The lies are blatant in the teachings of Buddha. The lies are blatant in the teachings of Confucianism. But the lies are not that blatant in Christianity. Why? Because they're reading from the same book, from the same text, with a twist. And that's why, and that's how he deceives the entire world, is through Christianity, through the Christian religion, through the Christian calendar, through the Christian government. Look at the whole world. They're all under that same delusion. Joanna, you said, do I still have the video of the flat earth, the study of the video of the flat earth that we went over? I am not quite sure if we do, and I don't quite remember which study you're talking about, Joanna, to be honest. So, Cree, you said, where's the video of flat earth? So it's probably on Nazareth's, her link tree. I can't quite remember because, I mean, we've done so many over the years. I mean, that's kind of crazy to say over the years. Well, we're third year now. This is our third year. Aki Aliyahu, there's a lot of people that want to talk to me after this, Ak, and again, let me share this with all of you while I have you guys' ear. I know there's times that you guys want me to talk to you guys, and, I try to make myself available here, okay? I'm not a counselor. I'm just your Ak. I'm not anybody's bank. If I have money to help, I try to help. I'm just keeping it real with all of you. Okay, I'm not no one's marriage counselor. The only counselor that we all have is our Messiah. All of your troubles, all of your worries, you need to take to him. Don't put that pressure on me. I'm just a mere man. I'm just keeping it honest and real with all of you. I'm just a mere man. I hope that doesn't change the way you look at me, but I'm just letting you know. I'm just a mere man. I got people from the East Coast to the West Coast to overseas that want to talk to me as if I have the answers to something that you can get from the scriptures. Right? So please don't take anything personal when I say to you, because some of you reach out to me to want information on something as if I have a direct line, a red phone that connects me to Abba Yahuah and I can get you that information. I can't. What I share with you is through years of studying, and even the stuff that I've studied for years, I come to find out sometimes that it's wrong, which is what I found out over the last 3 years. And so I say all that to say, Aki Aliyahu, yes, we can talk. But if it has anything with me having to try to fix a situation, I'm not the man. I'm not the one. Because a lot of people come to me for counseling, and I'm not the one to do that. It's just not me. It wears me out more than what I'm already doing by spending hours on this live, on top of working, on top of the other things that I have to do here at my home, me and my wife. You know, so I would ask that all of you be respectful of my time as I'm respectful of yours. And don't put anything more on your brother than he can handle. I can't handle too much more than what I already got. And as we continue to grow, more people want to know and more people want answers. But this is why we do our lives. This is why we have questions and answers. You have questions, I'm here to answer those questions if I can answer them. And if I can't, let's look for it together. Now, if that rubs anybody the wrong way, I apologize, but I don't apologize because I'm not doing that to any of you. Taking up your time 24/7. And then it gives me a guilt trip when I don't get back to you. It does, because I'm human. And I feel like I let somebody down because they wanted to talk to me or they wanted that time. And it's hard. I'm just being honest. It's very hard for me. I got people calling me from my job. I got family members that don't even believe what I believe in, want my attention and time. My dogs, you know. So we come together at this time. This is where we air out the things. This is where we come. You have any questions that pertains to scripture? Yes. You know, many of you have my phone number. Shoot me a text. You got a question? Shoot me a text. And then I can get to it at my timing. Right? There's things that, you know, again, if you're truly walking this walk, your time is to be spent with Abba Yahuah. Your time is to crack open this word as I have been doing. And you need him to talk to you. Where do you think I get the answers that I get? It's the same place that you can get your answers from. And we come together and and there's going to be confirmation. And we're all saying, yes, that's what I got out the book. I'm like, yes, that's what I got out the book. Okay, so if we're all getting the same thing out of the book, then we're hearing from the same Ruach, and that's beautiful. Right? Now, I'm not saying that when somebody is down and out, or somebody just had a death in the family, or, you know, you might need a little help with a little bit of money. I'm not talking about that, because if I have, I'm going to give. If I don't have, I can't give. I can't give you something I don't have. But to do your Aki a favor And don't put more on me than I can handle, because you're just one person. And I'm not speaking to you directly, Aki Aliyahu. I'm just bringing it up because you just brought up here on the live that if you can speak to me after the live. And I'm just telling you, along with everybody else, there's a lot of people that want my time, and it's not my time to give. The time that I'm giving you is this time right now. I'm sacrificing this time right now that we come together as an assembly before Abba Yahuwah. Everything else, you need to take that to the Father. He's your counselor. He's your wonderful counselor. He's your mighty owl. He's your everlasting Father. He is your Prince of Peace. He's the one who gives you shalom, not Aki Jimmy and his words. My words can't give you shalom. My words maybe give you confirmation of what you already know, but my words is not what gives you is giving you comfort and shalom. It's Abba Yahuwah's word. Okay. Aunt Esther, can we continue with the scripture? I'm assuming that you're not liking what I'm sharing with you right now, and you're saying that as a rebuttal of what I'm saying to continue on in scripture. Like you're saying, shut your mouth up and let's get back to the scripture. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Totally for that. Okay, any other questions or comments? Yes, Brooke, what is your question, Cody? If we messed up by eating corn this unleavened, do we do the unleavened week? No, we don't. No. We learn from these mistakes, Cody. We learn from these mistakes, right? I think some people go as far as to say that we shouldn't even eat rice, which is a type of grain. Beans, all these things that we would normally eat, that we're not supposed to eat those things until we have given homage to Abba Yahuwah by praising him. But here's the problem: if that's the way we're taking that understanding to be, I think we're taking it out of context. What I believe the context is being told to us there in Leviticus chapter 23 about the Feast of First Fruits has to do with those grains that are growing at that time that are ready for the harvest. Okay. We know that barley and wheat are both being harvested at that time. Okay. So I personally believe, and I'm going to look into this more, but I personally believe it's speaking of those grains that are growing at that time of this first harvest. Because if that's the case, then, because a lot of people at that time, and you have to put yourself back in that position as the children of Yasharal, a lot of their diet had to do with wheat. A lot of their diet has to do with grinding up of grains to make bread and other types of food that is mixed up with these grains. Yes. So we got to be careful when we just lump everything together and say, well, this is a grain, or this is a corn, and we can't have none of this stuff. Okay. Now, I don't know the timing of corn, but I don't think corn, as it was written in the King James Version, is one of these grains that you can't eat. Yes, exactly. So there are certain things that we believe, according to scripture, that we're not supposed to eat from. Okay, certain things. And it has to do with that time of the year. Okay. And we can't just put a blanket on everything that's grain and say you can't eat any grain. I mean, then what are we going to eat? They weren't eating processed foods. If you're not eating bread and grain, then what are you eating? Just straight up meat? Only fish? Yeah, I wouldn't. Me personally, I'm not going to add rice and corn to the mix. Again, and we can do a more thorough study, and I'm sure some of you are going to do the studies as well. You got to look at that time of the season that we're talking about. We're talking about the spring harvest. The spring harvest is what we're talking about. Okay. So we need to look and see what grows at that time. And remember, we're talking about Jerusalem. So we're not talking about stuff that's growing in Amazon jungle, that things grow all year long. We're talking about Jerusalem. We're talking about a desert climate. Okay. After all, everything proceeds forth from Jerusalem. And this is what they're doing, because he's talking about when you come in the land. We're speaking of a specific geographical location in the land. So we need to look at those things that are harmonious to the land of what is growing there. Figs grow there, pomegranates grow there, olives grow there. A lot of different types of plants and fruits grow in the desert that some people don't even know actually grows there. And they're like, what? Yep, they grow there. Okay, so we have gone past 2 hours. Right? Honey and locusts. I think we're going to have to start eating some of that. Honey and locusts. So tomorrow morning, tomorrow Bakur, I'm going to be coming on 8 o'clock my time. Again, 9 o'clock Mountain, 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern. And it's for the Feast of First Fruits. And it is going to be a moment of praise. Tomorrow is not a Shabbat. I know there's people that think you're not supposed to work. It doesn't say in Leviticus 23 about the Feast of First Fruits being a day without work. If it was a day without work, he would tell us that we're not to do any work on that day. And any being who does work on that day, they shall be cut off from their people. He doesn't say that. Okay? So let us not add commandments where there is no commandment. Oh, I forgot. Yes, Phoenix would be considered at this time. We're the same as the time in Arizona, because Arizona does not do daylight savings. Yes, Mary, what is your question? Uh-oh. what is your question? So my mom does not believe in what I do, so I still have unleavened bread in my home that she bought. Okay. What do I do? Throw it away? No. Because you and I both know, Mary, and I believe you understand this, it is not you cleaning out your house physically that matters. It's you cleaning out yourself spiritually, mentally. Now, if it was your own home and you want to do the things that we've been told to that time, if you want to do those things, because it's your home, to remove all the yeast out of your house, yes, by all means, do your spring cleaning. But at the same time, we know that it's not speaking. That was a tutor. Remember what we were talking about? What we have been taught of the law, of the Torah, was a tutor. It was teaching us things. It's kind of like if you ever watched the movie Karate Kid, right? And here is the sensei, right? Telling Mr. Miyagi, telling Daniel-san, wipe off, wipe on, or wipe on and wipe off, right? And he's like, man, what does this have to do with karate? This is the tutor. He's showing you something through another style of an example that is teaching you what is going to come in handy later. And it's the same thing with the law. The law shows us things physically, but the deeper meaning of that law is spiritually, right? So the removing of the leaven out of your house literally has to do with you, not your mom having some bread, some Wonder Bread in the pantry. The Wonder Bread you got to get rid of is the bread that is wandering inside your body that is contrary to Abba Yahuwah's commandments. That's what you need to clean out. That's what you need to remove. That's what Daniel-san did not understand, what Mr. Miyagi was trying to teach him. And so it's the same with the Torah. It was our tutor until the Messiah came, who taught us exactly how we're to walk this thing out. Right? So I'm hoping that kind of helps you with that kind of analogy, Mary. And that's a great question. Because again, this is what we're being retrained to understand. And this is what Christianity didn't teach us, because Christianity doesn't even follow the law to understand the deeper meanings of that law. Okay? So does that make sense, Cody, Mary? You're very welcome. Yes, it's every day. Exactly. Every day. Every day. We are to examine ourselves every day. Does amen mean Amun Ra? Okay, so that's a touchy one there, right, Angel? And I personally, and this is why you hear so many of us say Amat, A-M-A-T, okay? Because we know that Satan plays on words. He does it all the time. He does it to the point that we have to second guess what we're even saying in these last days, because we're trying to root out all this paganism out of our mouth, because we want to be correct before our Abba Yahuwah. And we don't want to offend our Abba and provoke him to jealousy. And so the word, people pronounce it amen, amen, amen. You know, there's all these different ways that people pronounce 3 letters in Hebrew. You have the Aleph, the Mem, and the Nun. A-M-N. Those 3 make up the word amen, amin, amun, aman, however you want to say it. Okay. Now, the Egyptians have a deity as you know, because you brought it up, Amun Ra. Some people pronounce it Aman Ra. All right. Spelt with the same 3 letters in Egyptian hieroglyphics. Okay. AMN. So what do we do with this? Well, either we can just change the whole understanding of it and not say it in the English and say, so be it, which would be the same equivalent to the AMN in Abrit in Hebrew. Or you can say a word that's very similar to it, which is what we're doing, which means true or truth. Amat. Amat. Shannon, will we have a feast tomorrow? Not physically a feast tomorrow. I'm going to celebrate tomorrow, yes. I am going to, supposed to be meeting up with one of our Akis. I don't know if Aki Myron is here. Aki Myron, are you here by any chance? He's visiting here, and I'm going to be picking him up tomorrow and bringing him over here to my house after my work. We're going to break bread, and then this upcoming week, Yahuah willing, he's going to get immersed. What time for the East Coast tomorrow? Be 11 o'clock. Let me see, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, 11 o'clock. I'm taking it that Aki Myron is not here today. And I'm going to tell you guys something else about this time of as we come together like this. You know, a lot of it, as we're sharpening one another, and Abba Yahuah is preparing us for what is to come. Understand that what we're all going through, and it's going to get harder, that Yahuah is with us. We're going to feel like we're all alone, but we're not alone. He is with us. Any other questions or comments before we call it a day? Any other questions or comments? Why was there 3 calendars in the crucifixion? John records 2 Passovers. Danan, can you give me a little more information on what you're saying here? Let me read that again. Why was there 3 calendars in the crucifixion? I don't understand that one. John records 2 Passovers. Well, we do know this. There's only one calendar. If I understand your question correctly, you're asking, why does the book of John show or speaks of the festival of the Jews, and then it talks about the Passover? Is that what you're saying? Is that what I'm understanding your question to be, Danan? Brooke, it'll be, for you, it's going to be a little earlier, right? Because 8 a.m. here in Vegas, I don't know what time that is in Hawaii. It's going to be very early for you. I know that. I appreciate all of you. TURAH. Daphne, oh, the Phantom Skull. Can I play the lottery? It seems as gambling because I look for bank accounts that pay maximum interest. Is this gambling as well? Well, yes, lottery is gambling. Okay. Anytime you get something for nothing other than, you're putting in a chance because you're playing by chance, is gambling. I live in a city that's full of gambling, playing chances, right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm not trying to ask a dumb question, but couldn't Yahuah also create a round earth? Oh, yeah, he sure can. Yeah, he sure could have, but he didn't. Dan, and you say, why was Yahusha in the temple at 12? Because he says he was there about his father's business. In fact, his mother and his stepdad, Joseph, was like worried about him, right? Remember, they was like 3 days away and they had to come back and get him because they realized he wasn't in the campus. They were going back to Nazareth. So didn't you know that you have me and your dad worried? Why did you do this? And the Messiah says, I'm to be about my father's business. He already understood his purpose. And he was teaching grown men about the truth at that time. Danon, you said Mary and Joseph were in the moon calendar. What makes you say that, Danon? Cree, can you tell me what the menorah is used for, please? So the menorah today is used for nothing. The menorah back then was used to light up the inner part of the Most High place. And it represented his Ruach, his spirit, the 7 candlesticks, as we read in the book of Revelation, chapter 1. Yes, only praise is required tomorrow, Constance. Is investing in stocks gambling or speculation? I would say both. I do neither, but to each his own. Yes, Danon, Yahusha was on his father's calendar, yes. But what makes you think, Danon, that Joseph and Mary was on a moon calendar? Where are you getting that from? Or is that your speculation, your assumption? Do you think he's overpaying his right hand right now? Don't know what you mean by that one. I like that one, Aki Daniel. He made a round earth, it's just not a sphere, exactly. To that top, Brooke. I think he might be saying Yahusha was following the moon. Well, no, he's saying that Yahusha was following his father's calendar. But I don't know if he's saying that that is the moon. A lot of us started coming into this truth by the revelation of the earth's shape as being flat. So hearing a lot of this stuff from some of these guys about the flat earth, like Rob Skiba before he passed away, and I can't remember the other guy's name. He's not even a believer in Yahuah, but he's done a lot of things of looking into the earth being flat. I can't think of his name right now, but he's another one that has allowed a lot of people to come into this truth. Yahuah used them to open up the eyes of his children, the ones that he wanted their eyes to be open. And he'll use anybody, including Satan, to open up our eyes to his truth. And for many of us, he did use Satan for our eyes to be open through Christianity, because Christianity done lied to us, and Satan gave us that. Yes, Eric Dubé, that was the other guy I was thinking of. Thank you, Nazareth. He was a plant. Yeah, I think he probably was too. He spoke to he articulated himself very well. Anybody who knows the true calendar, we've walked through this before, especially when it comes to the suffering of our Messiah and him being laid in the tomb for 3 days and 3 nights. Literally walked it out through the calendar, and we see it for what it is, and it lines up with his life, and his life lined up with the calendar. Okay, Akudi Lupe. We'll see you tomorrow, Yahuah willing. All praises to the Most High Abba Yahuah. Okay, for the rest of you, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. I want to thank all of you for being here. The questions, the comments, those that we agree with, even the ones that we don't agree with. And may we continue to pull off for one another in our strength in the truth, and that we continue to walk in it. May we help one another, pulling for each other, not abusing one another. All right. Let us continue to be about our Father's business, sharing this truth to all who will hear. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and play the song from our Akudi that she wanted me to play. Yahuah Baruch you and keep you. May he continue to allow the countenance of his light to shine upon each and every last one of you. And may he continue to reveal himself to you and to your mishpachah. Our days are short. May Abba Yahuah get all the esteem and all the honor, for without him we are nothing. Yahuah Baruch you.
From Enoch's vision to truth revealed, Yahuwah's plan for nations healed. Now Hermon witnessed angels fall, but restoration comes for all. The earth cried out from all the pain. Now righteousness will break the chain. worship Yahuah.
Shalom, shalom, Mishpachah, Shabbat